Good afternoon. This is Eric Youngblood, Training Manager for Syndicate Claim Services. Today we're going to be talking about how to create the general loss report in the motorist profile. When you receive a claim from motorist claims come via exact analysis. They should be sent to your inbox found in your control center. Click Connect and accept the claim. I have a couple test claims here that we'll be working in to write our report. First, we open our report. This one I had worked on previously. I have to mark it back in progress. Writing your report in the general loss report should be one of the last steps that you perform. Make sure that you enter in all the appropriate information in your insured info page, coverage loss, parameters. You get your sketch done, you write your estimate, apply your depreciation appropriately, and get your photos uploaded. In our report management section, we click on that tab under the claim info, report management. That's where we'll find the general loss report under claim reports. On the front section of the general loss report under admin and coverage, this is where we need to write some general information. First, is this our first report? Is it our second report? List the number of report this is. Next, list the desk adjuster in the attention section. Brian was one of my contacts there. I'll list Brian as the contact. Next, we'll mark whether this is a status or a final report. If this is our first report, and there will be subsequent reports, leave it as status. If this is a final report, mark it as final. Again, under this area here, whether there's a reinspection or a supplement, we'll need to mark that appropriately. If there's co-insurance policy, please mark that. And at the very bottom, we're going to mark what enclosures are going to be included with this report. With this one, we'll have our estimate. We'll include a replacement cost report, a bill for services, photos. In this case, let's say we took 20 photos. We'll have a diagram since we included a sketch. And we will not have a contractor's estimate or invoice. If there's any additional enclosures, let's say there was a fire report, police report, any other information you can put along the side over here. Once you filled out this front section under admin and coverage under the general loss report, we go to the remarks section. In this section, I've tried to create some note templates for you to use to make it simpler for you to write your report. If you have not already done so, please upload the note templates that I've created for you to use. Here's how we create them. First, add. In the note section at the bottom, we're going to right click in the box, click Note Template. And if you scroll down, you'll see I have several motorist templates that I've created. Motorist 1, Motorist 2, Motorist 3. Start with Motorist 1. This section is our titled Investigation Inspection. In this area, what you'll see is a mix of comments, tokens, for example, the date received. This will automatically fill with the date that we used earlier in our report under the insured info section. There are also some underlined sections that we would like you to enter that information in. We're not going to assume that you spoke with the insured. Please, in this area, highlight the entire section and put down who you spoke with. In this case, we'll just say Mr. Johnson reviewed the claim damages. So in this case, so far, the claim estimate was received on such and such a date. This will pre-fill once we move forward via electronic download. Initial contact was made on, again, this will pre-fill. I spoke with, I've typed this information in and reviewed the claim damages. We discussed mitigation efforts and agreed to meet at the loss location on date inspected. The current mortgagee was confirmed by, who confirmed this? Well, we spoke with Mr. Johnson, so let's put Mr. Johnson down, this person we confirmed this information with. Under mortgagee, this information comes from this front area right here. So in this case, it's going to say star test. We've entered in some received dates, contact dates, inspected dates, and mortgagee information. And so just to give you a brief idea of how this is going to look so far, if I click view, I can show you what I have up to this point and show you how those tokens populate in the general loss report. As you can see here, the date comes in, the date that we had. Mr. Johnson's what I typed in, and star test is what we had for our mortgagee. If you read down, there are sections where we ask you to give a brief description. Identify the risk, describe it. What was it, a single family, multifamily, rental property? You describe what you found, what type of roof, about the approximate size, if it's insured to value. In this area, we're going to enter in our inspection time here. Who was present for the inspection? If it's the insured, if it's a contractor, please enter that information here. And under the inspection, reveal the damages that we find. In this section, under cause of loss, we're asking you to describe the cause of loss, be thorough, particularly in those cases that there might be possible subrogation, which might lead to some coverage questions. If there's any coverage questions involved, describe those coverage questions. If there's not, you can mark this as NA or not applicable. That is section 1. Section 2, we'll click add our next section. Right click, load note template. Scroll down to Motorists 2. This section is called Adjustments and General Remarks. So let's get a view of this from this section. So this is the area where we've talked about our investigation and inspection. Now we're talking about the actual damages and what was the result of our inspection. What kind of damages did we find? Either explain damages to roof and elevations or mark as NA. What about other structures? Were there any other structures involved with this loss? If so, please describe the damages. Was there any personal property damaged? ALE. Explain if the risk is livable or unlivable. The risk is livable. No ALE necessary at this time. Describe your depreciation. How depreciation is being applied by age, life, and overall condition. Status of mitigation. If there's any mitigation, take photos of the equipment. Describe the number of fans, dehumidifiers, whether it seems appropriate. Overhead and profit. Explain if it's warranted or not. Whether the repairs are complex enough. And whether a general contractor, the use of a general contractor is warranted. Subrogation. Explain if there's any potential subrogation. And salvage, also explain, as you would on any other report, any potential for salvage. If there's any underwriting concerns or hazards that you've noted during your inspection, you can list those at this time at the bottom of this section. In the last section, again, click Add, go down to the notes, right-click, Load Note Template. And again, these notes should have been sent to you. If you do not have them, let me know. I can forward them to you. You will data transfer them in. This section we will call Recommendations. Let's get an overview of what we've done here. We've got our Investigation and Inspection section. We've got our Adjustment and General Remarks section. And lastly, we have our recommendations. In this case, We're simply saying this adjustment was made in accordance with policy guidelines and limitations. If you're in agreement with the enclosed documents, we recommend payment be issued to the named insured and all mortgagees if applicable, based on the below statement of loss. Pending any further instructions, we are closing our file at this time. This was a statement provided to us by Motorists. The nice thing about using the general loss report is it creates its own statement of loss. This is pulled from our coverage area. This is pulled from our estimate, our depreciation that's applicable, ACV, and down. Lastly, under the recommendation section below, this is not our recommendations, but this is a section that is a part of the general loss. We can make a recommendation. Are we recommending payment to the insured at the ACV value, which is most likely the case since we are withholding depreciation? If the estimate's below the deductible, you can click this. If we're submitting a status report and we're going to want to diary our file for a certain amount of time, 10 days, maybe 14 days, and suggest a reserve. In this case, maybe suggest $5,000. Or whether there's any other special instructions under our recommendations. For example, if we are recommending a denial of this claim, that information might be entered here. In this case, let's recommend payment. Now we click View. We check everything. Notice how this information all is populated in. Attention is going to Brian Warzinski. These are the enclosures that are going to be included with our report, the coverages. At this time, we didn't enter that information on our coverage page. Like I can do that now and show you how that populates in. Let's say that the HO3 coverage was $150,000 coverage. Now when we go to view the general loss, see 150,000 coverage, the mortgagee is listed, deductible is listed. Our report is written down here in 3 sections: investigation and inspection, adjustment and general remarks, recommendations, and then the statement of loss and the recommendations that come from the general loss, what we're exactly recommending at this time. Your name should be the name listed down here. To do that, you need to make sure that you're the adjuster listed under the claim rep portion. Once the general loss is completed and you have viewed it and checked your spelling, you can either upload your general loss at this time in this section. You can click Upload here, or as you're uploading other documents through the print window, you can do the same here. Go to Claim Reports. In the same section where we might upload our loss recap, our photo report, our statement of loss reports. You'll find the general loss reports also in this section, and you can upload it in this section also. Once these documents have been, you've clicked Upload for each of those documents, mark the document complete, mark the estimate complete, save and exit, and in your control center you would click Connect. The general loss report does not automatically get packaged and sent up when it's marked for close. You must upload the general loss report as its own document. Make sure that when you're uploading your estimate, your photos, and your sketch, that you also upload a copy of your general loss report to Xactanalysis. Thank you.